Tonight, our special transmission as the first lawyer to visit Sde Teiman facility in Israel details horrifying conditions. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Aisha Ashraf. Today is the 259th day since Israel started targeting Palestinians indiscriminately. Palestine Health Ministry reports in the past 24 hours, Israeli strikes have killed 35 Palestinians. 130 have been injured. Palestinian news agency reports 2 women have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a home in the Nuseirat refugee camp. Israeli artillery has targeted the Zaytun neighborhood and the Maghazi and Burej refugee camps. Israeli military spokesman Daniel Hagari says Hamas is an ideology that cannot be eliminated. Hagari's comments come as a surprise and contrast with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's stance. Netanyahu has been reiterating that Israel will continue its war until Hamas is defeated. U.S. officials estimate that 50 Israeli prisoners are still alive in Gaza. This figure suggests a higher death toll among captives than previously acknowledged. Hamas had taken about 250 captives on October 7th. 109 have been released in exchange deals. 7 of them have been rescued by Israeli forces. The death toll from Israel's war is staggering. At the time of writing, at least 37,431 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli attacks. A revised report by the United Nations estimates another 10,000 civilians are buried under the rubble. 85,653 civilians have been injured. Israel's death toll from Hamas's attack stands at 1,139. Israeli tanks, supported by airstrikes and drones, have penetrated deeper into western Rafah. The incursion has targeted residential areas, leading to a mass exodus. At least 8 Palestinians have been killed in the city. Residents report widespread destruction as Israeli forces intensify operations. The Rafah crossing, vital for Gaza's access to the outside world, lies in ruins. The United Nations Refugee Agency estimates 65,000 people remain in Rafah. More than 1 million Palestinians were seeking shelter in the city before Israel started targeting the area. Egypt has dismissed reports suggesting its involvement in a proposed UN-led Arab force to oversee Gaza border crossing. A senior Egyptian official has refuted the claims. He says there is no truth to the rumors. Egypt has also declined to cooperate with Israel on managing the Rafah crossing since Israel's recent capture of the border on the Palestinian side. A lawyer has condemned conditions at the Sde Teiman detention camp in Israel. Khaled Majni is the first lawyer granted access to the facility. Majni has revealed appalling conditions endured by over 1,000 Palestinian detainees from Gaza. He calls the conditions criminal and beyond imagination. Majni reports systematic torture inside the facility. This includes sexual abuse and severe mistreatment such as forced prolonged positions and electrocutions during interrogations. He says detainees sleep on the ground without blankets. He says they are constantly handcuffed and blindfolded and are prohibited from speaking to each other. This is not the first instance that an alarm has been raised about the disturbing conditions of the Sde Teiman facility. Earlier, a 3-month investigation by the New York Times revealed that detainees are being subjected to systematic sexual abuse and torture. Detainees who spoke to the Times described being forced to sit on metal sticks that pierced their rectums. They said they had to wear nappies and were electrocuted during days-long interrogations. Human rights groups have documented widespread abuse in Sde Teiman, leading to Palestinian deaths. The Israeli military has announced plans to close the facility amid mounting allegations. It has started transferring detainees to other facilities. Canada has officially labeled Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist entity. It cites the group's connections to militant groups Hezbollah and Hamas. Ottawa says the move is necessary in countering terrorist financing and to punish the Iranian agency for its human rights record. The designation requires freezing the agency's assets. This decision mirrors the U.S. move in 2019. Canada has also issued a warning to its citizens in Iran, urging them to return home. Relations between Iran and Canada have been rocky for decades. Ottawa cut diplomatic ties with Tehran in 2012 for its nuclear program and support for the Syrian government of Bashar al-Assad. In 2020, Iranian forces downed a Ukrainian plane with Canadian passengers. Iran has criticized the decision as politically motivated. It says the move will not diminish the agency's power. Members of Islamic community in Winnipeg, Manitoba are advocating for greater mental health resources. The news comes following the tragic death of a youth during Eid al-Adha celebrations. The youth was suffering from mental health issues. The youth self-immolated at the Waverley Grand Mosque. The Manitoba Islamic Association is expressing deep sorrow over the incident. Hakim Ghulam, a board member, says there is need for collective support. Ghulam says there are barriers to access mental health services. More than 15,000 people showed up for prayer at the convention center for Eid al-Adha prayers. At least 922 pilgrims have lost their lives during this year's Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca. These deaths have occurred mainly due to severe heat. Reports show that the temperature soared up to 51.8 degrees Celsius. Egyptian officials say there has been a surge in deaths among their pilgrims, with numbers rising sharply to at least 600 in a day. The intense heat particularly endangered elderly and frail pilgrims. Saudi authorities have not officially disclosed the number of casualties. This year's Hajj drew over 1.83 million Muslims from all parts of the globe. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.